I guess we'll go ahead and just click the click the record button. Yeah. Well, there was a couple of things that I was contemplating here. It was the night vision from the submarinists that had spent a majority of their time underwater. Um, is one reference that was made on the National Geographic Channel. Uh, Tubes short. I think it's a 3.5 minute info filled something, and you'll see a resemblance between how my eyes tend to drift to the sides of my head as if the pupils are staring at my temples. Hmm? I almost caught it that time. No, they say it's just tonsil stones from allergies. That's one of those, that a little bit of back to chunk. That in conspiracy, one partial belief I don't hold close to the heart is that the radiation in the area causes precancer symptoms. If you're around the nuclear submarine portion of the Thames River, close enough to Dominion Millstone Power Plant, you're for up to for say longer than 6 weeks without proper radiation exposure protection, you're bound to develop a zit that may turn into a cyst, that may turn into a tumor, or other sort of precancer, stage zero cancer type radiation similar, such as the blood or bone or brain, glaucomas, all sorts of ditties that the residents of the Tri-Town area are well aware of and have experienced in, since long before all these sort of newfound patriots. Yeah, well, they're newfound to the Tri-Town area, patriotic on their own terms, the best of the best all the country has to offer, and they show up, and in greater numbers, but wind up catching some sort of something. They weren't necessarily as prepared as they thought for the amount of radiation simply in the air. The rain is known to melt copper pennies on occasion. It's been like that since the 90s. That's not some kind of anti-terror defense or some kind of eminent domain, for residential anything. Says, uh, oh, oh, right. Well, we could either review the 3 minute section, we could jump into a lead guitar, or it was supposed to be a funny. Some people catch them from smoking and says, lung butter. Well, you slug a beer and you felt that breath come back again. It's because it went into your smoky lung and it's collecting some tar and ting. But you'll find some big brown spits later from that. We had a commercial on here earlier. I think it was before this segment. Unless I go ahead and load down some more commercials. Tom Waits, he's known to smoke 5 packs a day and drink a handle of bourbon, handle of whiskey, handle of scotch, handle of something similar to one of those. So what I was contemplating, between getting sick, actually, after such an enormous amount of excrement that reeked like diesel fuel or gasoline something, was vaguely green and had all sorts of precancer chunks in it, or sludge, as if I was kind of spitting up poop, almost. It was, and I'm not backed up in the number two. I've been staying regular on eats, and I think last week I even had three tiny laxatives, and they worked quite well, and I felt great, and I was able to, and I haven't really been exposed to the emissions of Route One, to the teeth, to the point where I had only been walking in traffic and hadn't showered, for 4 days or what, and I've been drinking bottled water, and I've been staying regular in my prescription. So maybe it's just a normal flu. Yes, but I mean, there was that, and then there was Guitaro, and that the potty humor thing is supposed to be a funny, is clearly, well, the vocals are working uh, in this kind of fashion. You can tell that I'm at some smidge healthy, even though having say close to 4,200 or 4,100, and that's 4,100 days worth of prescription medicine for reasons unknown to me, or at least reasons I don't have tangible documentation for. And it's no, I wouldn't be smoking if I was not on medicine. I know that's a double negative, but it goes along with being have a bilingual speech impediment or a trilingual speech impediment. There was a national Native American tongue I learned, and there was Swinglish and Swedish, and all those three were before English. Actually, in English, I got a D all throughout high school. I didn't really start learning English straight until my freshman year. And since age 4, I was learning submarine everything, so I could be a submarine pilot, as in a taxi driver, for civilian and science and scholar, to go from New London down to the middle of the Long Island Sound to the research base where they developed ping in the 40s, so that the civilians could take a tour or maybe rent an apartment down there. Well, the university scholars would study, work alongside scientists who would put in action. The best minds would relay information to the best sort of, with this new information we can build these things, scientists, for a space station under the Atlantic Ocean was the deal. And that was a Bill Clinton put in place, and he said 5 to 10 years, and it'll be fully functional. So my family looked at me, and I was maybe 7, and I've been submarine everything since the age of 4, and just a handful of years later, or less, many years later, if you count many as 4, many, few, some, those are terms. Was some 5 or was many 5? 7:25. If you're just tuning in now, it's the Andy C. New London, New England radio show. Not beating around the bush, but going into a lead on a miniature acoustic 6-string Guitaro, which was on the shelf 31 years ago. Yeah, so there was the whole my eyes, staring at my temples things like a submarine or night vision. Now, I haven't spent the majority of my most recent time underwater. In fact, I can't recall the last time I was underwater, except for perhaps the last end of 2001, maybe December 2001. So if that's where the whole shine job, as if I'd been to a space prison or something similar, it's just kind of strange how that happens. It's not temporary blindness. It's not something that my great grandmother would have said. Well, it's from being Aryan, man, or something like that. Now I understand the pupils would change colors, but looking almost identical to one of those people that have spent most of their time in the dark underwater. It's not like I've been staying awake 24/7. I live an active 8 to 12 hour day, and that's like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I go to sleep all night. It's not like I work nights. I'm not a gravedigger or anything. So finally, there was another something to go along with that, and I've been recalling, and I could be wrong, although my I think I'm halfway accurate to say that I've been at the arm reach, like within arm's reach, like I would be an accessory. I have been that close to over 1,000 or close to 1,000 crimes, serious crimes, like Schedule 1 narcotics, manslaughter, murder, assault, battery, assault and battery, robbery, break and enter, simple trespass, yeah, shoplifting, sure, everything, anything in between, Grand Theft Auto, and I mentioned rape, etc. So, and I don't have a single piece, shred of documentation to show for any of those. Not that I'd like to go to jail, or I'm saying I'm guilty of 1,000 crimes, but most certainly have not been hiding that. And I find confusion to the teeth, to the dotted I, to the crossed T. Serious confusion as to why I don't have. Well, yeah, no, I remember, sure, I remember age 4 doing the submarine thing until age 13 doing the junior Navy thing until age 18 where I got injured. And what kind of adult credentials do I have where I would get away with being an accessory to 1,000 counts of crime between Waterford and New London? I don't know. Like I said, I filed to join the Navy when I was 18. Did I ever get an acceptance letter back? I don't have a military ID. I don't have blue camouflage with a hand grenade, an assault rifle, Kevlar vest, Humvee, and all sorts of whatever the hell goes along with being a Navy. I have a regular, ordinary, actually a less than average, in the poor boy slums, with almost nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I'm pretty sure that I don't have a credit or credentials enough to get away with 1,000 counts of accessory to serious crime, but I have. I haven't gotten a warning in the mailbox. I haven't gotten any texts or phone calls or anything. Not even one warning. And the things I've seen, man. Well, yeah, I was a decorated junior serviceman civil, and prepping for the military and the Boy Scouts. I'm lucky I'm not dead from all this medicine I never asked for, my mom and dad never condoned, as well as my primary care doctor, and my brother's younger than me. He wouldn't have any kind of rights to give me a script that's lethal. You know, it's killed people, it's injured people, it causes heart attacks, strokes, heart palpitations, loss of senses. It causes seizures on top of it, irritable bowels, and more. So, I wish I had. How does that? How? No, not that one. I wish I had a pencil in my. Not that one. The other one from years. Not the Jimmy Buffett, the Bare Naked Ladies. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, I'd buy you a new fur coat, but not a real fur coat. That's cruel. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, I've always wanted a monkey. Anyway, so no, I like that. I liked them in the '90s. They were pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to some lead six-string miniature acoustic. Forget about the camp songs. I was just trying to finish my sentence with something in English, that normal adult people could relate to. So, $1 million, yeah. Well, if I had a 20 or a 40, I probably wouldn't be as sick as a dog right now. So, you wouldn't even have a 10 or a 5. Hey. Anyway, there's a GoFundMe out there. It's got the same name as the name listed under the what is it? The channel name or something? Yeah, the title of every episode is the Andy C. New London New England Radio Show. Yeah, but there's the channel name. That's my name. There's a GoFundMe with the same name. It's Grateful Dead Get Me Healthy. It says something. It's got a picture of me. You'll recognize that picture from any one of the YouTube selfies. It's the same guy. He ate 3,600 Risperidone. A little bit of that, or a little bit of a check in my mailbox, I guess. If you were following along, you'd probably have my address by now. So I'm gonna jump into rhythm, I guess, and check out at 15 set.